Hey guys, welcome to another video on the channel. Today we are going to talk about a natural and mysterious phenomenon that happens in the region of the Atlantic Ocean close to the American continent. The so-called Bermuda Triangle. So leave your like and subscribe to the channel, because there are always new videos here. One of the possible explanations for these phenomena is the disturbances that this region experiences in the Earth's magnetic field. One of the most famous cases is the so-called Flight 19. Although there are several previous events, the first more systematic reports begin to occur between 1945 and 1950. Some trace the mystery to Christopher Columbus. Even so, incidents range from 200 to no more than 1,000 in the past 500 years. Howard Rosenberg claims that in 1973 the U.S. Coast Guard responded to over 8,000 requests for help in the area and that over 50 ships and 20 planes were lost in the area during the 20th century. Many theories have been given to explain the extraordinary mystery of the missing planes and ships. Extraterrestrials, crystal waste from Atlantis, humans with anti-gravity weapons or other weird technologies, and fourth-dimensional vortexes are favorites of fantasy writers. Weird magnetic fields and methane gas emissions from the ocean floor are favorites of the more technical. Climatic factors such as storms, hurricanes and swells, giant waves, natural disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis, ocean currents and other natural and human causes are favorites among skeptical researchers. History and evolution. Since the era of the Great Navigations, in the 15th and 16th centuries, ships traveling from Europe to the Americas continually passed through this area to take advantage of the Gulf Stream winds. Then, with the development of steam engines and ships with internal combustion engines, much of the North Atlantic traffic no longer passed through this area. The Gulf Stream, an area with unstable weather, known for its hurricanes, also passes through the triangle on its way out of the Caribbean Sea. The combination of heavy shipping traffic and unstable weather may have caused some ships to get into storms and be lost without a trace, particularly before the development of telecommunications, radar, and satellites in the late 20th century. The first documented work on disappearances in this area was released in 1950 by E.V.W. Jones, a journalist for the Associated Press, who wrote some articles on disappearances of boats in the Triangle. Jones said the disappearances of boats, planes and small boats were mysterious. And he named this area the Devil's Triangle. In 1952 George X Sand stated in an article in Revista do Destino that strange marine and aerial disappearances took place in this area. In 1964 sensationalist writer Vincent Gaddis coined the term, Bermuda Triangle, in an article in Argosy magazine. A year later he published the book Invisible Horizons, True Mysteries of the Sea, Invisible Horizons, The True Mysteries of the Sea, which included a chapter called, The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. Generally, Gaddis is considered the inventor of the Bermuda Triangle. But it was 10 years later, in 1974, that the mystery became myth through Charles Berlitz and his book The Bermuda Triangle, in which he took some texts by Gaddis and recompiled some cases of disappearances, mixed with falsehoods and flagrant inventions. It was after the publication of that book that the events became known through the press in a more comprehensive way. After finding the head of a man in the sea, everyone claimed that there were supernatural things. An American TV channel specializing in science fiction produced a miniseries in 2005 under the name of the Bermuda Triangle, Startling New Secrets. Possible explanations. Note that some are not scientifically accepted. Anomalies in the electromagnetic field of planet Earth, conspiracy theory forged to develop reactions in the Cold War world, hexagonal cloud formation, giant swirls, flow of bubbles of gases from the depths that lighten the water causing ships to sink as they pass. Natural explanations. Variations in compasses. Problems with compasses are one of the most cited in several incidents in the Triangle. While some have theorized that unusual local magnetic anomalies may exist in this area, such anomalies have not been revealed to exist. It should also be remembered that compasses have natural magnetic variations with respect to the magnetic poles. For example, in the United States the only places where the magnetic North Pole and geographic North Pole are exactly the same are on a line running from Wisconsin to the Gulf of Mexico. Navigators have known this for centuries, but the public may not be aware, and some people think that there is something mysterious about the change in the compass over an area as large as the Triangle, despite it being a natural phenomenon. Explanation. Some writers have used some supernatural concepts to explain the events in the Triangle. One explanation is supposed technology from the lost continent of Atlantis. This story is sometimes connected to the submerged rock formation known as Bimini Road, near the island of Bimini, in the Bahamas, which is in the triangle in some cases. Followers of Edgar Cayce predicted that evidence of Atlantis would be found in 1968, referring to the discovery of Bimini Road. Some describe the formation as a road, wall, or other structure, although geologists consider it to be of natural origin. Other writers have attributed the events to UFOs. This idea was used by Steven Spielberg in his science fiction film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which depicts the crew of Flight 19 as human abductees. Charles Berlitz, author of several books on abnormal phenomena, attributed the disappearances in the triangle to an anomaly or unexplained forces. Into two categories: acts of war and acts of piracy. Records in enemy archives have been checked for numerous losses, while several sinkings have been attributed to surface raiders or submarines during the World Wars and documented in the various ships' books. Many other suspected sinkings have not been proven. The loss of the USS Cyclops in 1918, as well as her sister ships Proteus and Nereus in World War II, is suspected to have been caused by submarines, but no proof has been found in German records. Piracy, which is defined as taking a ship or small boat on the high seas, is an act that continues to this day. While piracy of hijacked freighters is more common in the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans, drug smuggling causes the theft of ships for smuggling operations, which may have been the case for disappearances of crews and yachts in the Caribbean. Piracy in the Caribbean was common from the 1560s to the 1760s, including famous pirates such as Edward Teach, Blackbeard, and Jean Lafitte. Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is an ocean current that originates in the Gulf of Mexico, then passes through the Strait of Florida into the North Atlantic. In essence, it is a river within the ocean, and like a river, it can and does carry floating objects. It has a surface speed of around 2.5 meters per second, 6 miles per hour. A small plane making a water landing or a boat having engine trouble will be carried away from the reported position by the current, as was the case with a so-called cruise ship. Witchcraft on December 22, 1967, when an engine problem was reported near a buoy marker 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers, offshore, but the ship was not there when the Coast Guard arrived. Human error. One of the most cited explanations in official inquiries is the loss of any aircraft or vessel as human error. Whether deliberate or accidental, humans have been known to make mistakes resulting in catastrophes, and losses within the Bermuda Triangle are no exceptions. For example, the Coast Guard cited a lack of adequate training in cleaning up volatile benzene residue as the reason for the loss of the VA Fog in 1972. Human stubbornness may have caused trader Harvey Conover to lose his sailing yacht, the Revenant, as he sailed into the center of a South Florida storm on January 1, 1958. Many losses remain inconclusive due to the lack of shipwrecks that could be studied, a fact cited in many official records. Gigantic waves. In several oceans around the world, giant waves have caused ships to sink and oil rigs to collapse. These waves are considered to be a mystery and until recently were believed to be a myth. However, the giant waves do not explain the loss of planes. However, the fact that there are 300 meters of waves present within the triangle, scientists believe could be a reason behind so many planes sunk in the sea within it. Methane hydrates. World distribution of methane gas hydrate sediments, 1996. Source: USGS. An explanation of some of the disappearances points to the presence of several zones of methane hydrates on the continental plates. In 1981, the United States Geological Survey reported the appearance of these hydrates in the Blake Ridge area, in the southeastern USA. Frequent methane eruptions could produce regions of foamy water that don't give boats enough lift. If such an area formed around a boat, it would sink very quickly without warning. Experiments in the laboratory have proven that bubbles can actually sink a scale model boat due to the decrease in water density. Clouds hexagonal formation. Researchers at the University of Colorado, in the United States, discovered an abnormal pattern in the formation of clouds in that region. The shape of these clouds is geometrically hexagonal, and their performance is compared to an air bomb, as the shape of these clouds allows the creation of super powerful air currents, capable of reaching up to 274 kilometers per hour. This wind could be compared to the strength of a hurricane. Consequently, they can cause the impact of wind on ocean water to generate waves of up to 15 meters. Such natural conditions are practically deadly, since it is very difficult for a ship or plane, however modern they may be, not to be able to face conditions like these. Explanations of plane crashes. Methane gas could also cause planes to crash. The less dense air would cause planes to lose lift. In addition, on the plane's altimeter, height is determined by the density of the air. Since methane is less dense, the altimeter would indicate that the plane is climbing. The pilot traveling at night or through clouds, situations in which it is not possible to see the ground, would assume that the plane is climbing and would react by descending, causing the plane to collide with the sea. Another factor is that the methane sucked in by the engine would ruin the fuel-air mixture. Airplane engines burn hydrocarbons, such as gasoline, mixed with oxygen from the air. When ambient oxygen levels drop sharply, combustion can stop altogether, causing the engine to shut down. All these effects of methane gas have been demonstrated experimentally. Sea monsters. The kraken is a sea monster of gigantic proportions that, like other monsters of the same characteristics, would inhabit the waters of the Bermuda Triangle, literally devouring anything that appeared in front of it. This myth may have arisen from sightings by sailors and pirates of giant squids, 14 and 15 meters long, that inhabit the deep waters of the high seas. The rest is legend. If you liked the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And say below if you liked the video and can you suggest video themes too?